This is a Headgum podcast.
Welcome to Dungeon Court.
Dun.
We are your Supreme Crit Justices. Emily was trying to hold my hand.
And we're on video now, so you can see that.
Wow.
Sometimes you can see those visual jokes. But
Affection, folks.
We
there
all
it
need
is.
to remember where our bread is buttered, and that's
No more
in the
visual
audio
gags.
world.
Ears.
Starting right now.
Starting
Bread
right
is
now.
buttered in
Don't
the
use your
ears.
finger to say that there's visual gags.
No more
You have to
visual
just
gags.
say that there's visual gags.
Everyone sit wooden and still.
Yes, please. We are Supreme Crit Justices, Murphy, Axford, and Tanner. And with us, as always, is our delightful
Whoa.
Bailiff Jake. Decided
Yeah.
Bailiff Jon, actually.
Bailiff Jon.
No one talks
Carrying
down
it
to John.
over.
Thank you so much,
Everyone
John.
shows
We
John
really
a little
respect
little
you.
respect.
And with that, we will throw to Bailiff Jon.
Hear ye, hear ye. Crit is now in session. The Honorable Supreme Crit Justices Axford, Murphy, and Tanner presiding along with Bailiff Jon.
Oh, so strong,
that's-
that Bailiff Jon.
That's spin-off material right there.
Really?
Bailiff Jon.
Oh,
think it could work, yeah.
I could totally see like Bob Odenkirk playing that character.
Wow.
So I would
Bob Odenkirk.
I could
Did you
bike
catch-
and I act.
Yeah. Jake's 20 years younger than him. We can-
I know, but Bailiff
Yeah.
Jon sounds like an older guy.
Yeah, I'm
could play
sorry.
both.
He's like
I could
on
play
the
up.
verge of retirement,
Well,
and
I
then something happens in his life, and he can't retire yet, and he really wants to retire.
I know I look young.
Yeah,
but I
We're
could play
sorry,
old.
John. You've been recast.
No offense, John, but Odenkirk's got the gravitas.
You're walking all over John.
Yeah.
John was supposed to be different.
Hi, John. You're taking him away from me.
John's status.
See, Odenkirk has that man quality, whereas the
Yeah.
three of us have like old boy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And not in like
So
a
we
fun
can't-
action movie.
yeah.
I asked my sisters when we were on vacation, I was like, am I a man or a guy?
Oh.
And-
Oh, guy.
Yeah,
is
everyone
a
said I
good
was
third
a guy.
option. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
At what
Um,
point do you become a man?
I don't know. I
At what
might
point do you
never.
go from guy to man?
Maybe I was gonna say maybe having a kid, but Caldwell's still a little guy.
Yeah, I'm still a guy.
He's just a little guy.
That's by his choice. I think. That's very clearly driven from Caldwell.
It's a specific sort of psychosis where, like, I act like a little guy, but in my head, I'm a big man.
Oh,
that's
I love
cool.
it.
Yeah.
I think I'm similar. No,
Yeah.
I'm the opposite. I act like a big man, but in my head, I'm a little guy.
There you go.
I
Okay.
think so.
Interesting. I think
I
I'm a
will
guy.
say about that
I'm a little guy
contrast.
and a little out like in the world and in my head.
Yeah.
I'm
I kind
I'm
of
always
agree
the
with
same
that.
guy.
We need more
With-
big
for
men
myself.
out there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, this is why I hit my head so often.
I think I
Um,
brought this up before, but people were saying outside of, I think, last year's New York show that I was taller than they thought I would be. But I'm not tall. I'm like average height. So I
Yeah.
think they just thought I was a mad little guy.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
Which is
People
very
were saying,
funny.
like, I thought you'd have more of an Odenkirk energy to Jake.
Yes, most people did.
Yeah.
Especially Bob.
It was so great of him to come.
Yeah, it was really cool that he showed up. In
We
Deadeye
beamed
cosplay
him with a
as well.
dice.
Yeah. Okay, our first case comes from Andrew Y. And Andrew writes, to the as honorable as Judge Judy judges,
Woo.
and the
Really?
you'll never be Petrie Hawkins Bird Bailiff. I guess
Oh.
that's the Judge Judy reference.
Deep pull, yeah.
Mm.
Okay,
But now you're John.
right. They actually say Bird Bailiff Jake, and I am
Bird
Bailiff
Bailiff
John.
John.
So-
You've ascended.
okay,
We can also call you Bob or Odenkirk.
works. I don't hate Bailiff Odenkirk.
What about Lil Bobby Odenkirk?
Ooh,
Well,
You don't think that Bob Odenkirk will get mad if we...
I think he'd be honored.
the super niche podcast has started using your name.
The
I
only
know,
guess.
but don't you understand that, like, they would get it? Because Jake says so much stuff that, like, I mean, Bob Odenkirk can't align himself with.
Name one thing.
What is
Name
Jake?
one position I've taken that Bob Odenkirk would be.
That Bob
against.
Odenkirk wouldn't back him up on.
He thinks that schools shouldn't have cafeterias.
They should eat lunch at their desks. Why does everyone have to clean up after these
When did this come up? Why is this the first time hearing this opinion?
They get the lunch at the door and they eat it at their desk. They can have recess. There doesn't need to be a cafeteria. And they need ice cream at fucking noon.
Oh, Odenkirk's
I'm
not
sorry.
touching that one.
John doesn't stand for this shit.
All right,
All
John.
right. I submit to
All right,
the
John.
course the case of the Rob Natural 20 initiative.
I have a tear
Ooh.
coming down my eyes from that.
Let it
Hold on,
have
give me
some-
that.
Wow, I can see
I see
it.
it. You can.
Wow.
Murph,
Wow,
can you
you're
catch
just, Are you
it?
just gonna leave it?
Yeah.
Let it
You
go.
can just leave it.
Okay.
Just
Like
be
we're
I'm
crying.
still,
doing
yeah.
it. It's-
Crying the whole
now
time?
it's leaking into my nose.
Do you want to flick it away with the gavel?
Leave it for the video
Okay,
audience.
Just for them. I joined a random campaign that was happening on Roll20. I
Mm.
set up my character sheet so I could toggle between disadvantage, flat, and advantage on my own. On a previous roll, I was told to roll with advantage, so I did. However, I forgot to turn that off. So when making my next roll for initiative during combat, I accidentally rolled with advantage. The rolls
Okay.
were a natural 20 and a 17. I was told that since I rolled that advantage when not instructed to, the die did not count.
Yes.
I argued that the
Yeah.
natural 20 should remain since it was the first roll, not the second
Oh.
roll. He said I could either leave or roll again. I re-rolled. I re-rolled and I got a 7. The DM then went on my character sheet and turned off the toggle for me. I was told not to turn it back on or else I would be booted from the game. Was it fair for the DM to rob me of my natural 20?
Oh,
Yeah.
Or should
Yeah,
I?
you
Or
were
should I?
robbed. You stole.
You
And then
stole.
someone,
And then
and then someone took that back.
with a very
Or was
strong
it a power
arm.
trip?
I don't
Or
know.
was it a power trip for the DM to edit
there's
my
more.
character sheet like that? I humbly await your opinion.
I feel like if you're playing
Humbly.
I think you
huffily,
you
rather.
always have to when if you like roll something by accident or like
Mm-hmm.
if the dice falls off the table or something, you always have to play it as if this were a nat 1, would I say this counted?
Yes.
And I don't think you would have. I
When
think
Caldwell's dice dinked off the cup and he said, "Oh, didn't count." And,
And
then
I
you're
was like, yes,
and you're
it
like,
did.
"Did you see it?" And he was like, "It was a 6."
yeah, it didn't count.
It was it slipped out of my hand is the thing.
Yeah, no,
Right.
no.
It slipped out of my hand.
But if it was a nat 20, you would have counted it, right?
That's true.
There you go.
I
would have.
think this person, unfortunately, I'm definitely gonna punish you. But I love your confidence.
This
Yeah.
getting kicked out of your like Roll20 thing, that would never happen to John.
that would, yeah.
Odenkirk,
John would have gotten
never.
kicked out for his bad school opinions.
Oh, come on. You're saying they
should
need
eat at the desk.
full lunch.
They shouldn't even get a playtime.
No.
They should just be eating while we teach them.
I
I
love
eat
point.
much TV.
when
Yeah.
you said, "What is this bad opinion?" I was like, I gotta come up with something neutral enough, and then
Yeah.
you just ran with it in a way that was so funny to me.
gotta get ready for
the
tests,
cafeteria
all the
call
tests.
up. That was what really set it up.
They get food when they answer the questions right.
But this DM has really serious. I met you on Roll20 energy
But, like-
of just being like, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna untoggle that.
Yeah.
And if you've got a problem with it, I'll boot you.
Here's the thing. It sounds harsh, but I feel like this DM deserves a commendation for putting up with the bullshit they must put up with,
Yeah.
playing with
Yeah.
randos
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
you're
under
just
yeah.
20.
playing. This is you're
Yeah.
playing an MMO at this point. I
Yeah.
know there's certain like social things that are different.
You're running an MMO.
You're running an MMO.
They
yeah.
also might be used to people being like, I actually don't know how to do that. So it might just
Right.
be
Uh-huh.
efficiency at this point. Like when you
Also, if you're arguing, if you're sitting there, you
Right.
you
These
roll the wrong
these
thing
are
with
all
advantage,
strangers.
and then you're
like,
arguing that your nat 20 should
Right.
count.
This DM
Yeah.
is keeping the story moving forward
This-
and not making
if
it about
I'm a
you.
player
It's
at
like-
that table, I think I'm also not on your side.
Because also
Yeah.
he knows you're gonna argue
Uh-huh.
if they don't fix it.
This
Yeah.
DM is a civil servant.
Yeah,
They
totally.
deserve a medal.
Bring it all back to teachers. There are some some students who have good intentions and they're like, "Can I go to the bathroom?" But like
Uh-huh.
some kids just wander to the hall. So you're just like,
You
no,
think-
like I have to basically build my lesson plan around the worst behaved students.
Yeah.
And that's the only
teacher?
way we can keep this thing moving forward.
Yeah.
Jake, have you been like moonlighting as a teacher?
I just don't think they should have lunch.
You're just a concerned
No
That's
lunch,
throughout
no
the day.
bathroom break.
I'm not moonlighting as a teacher
Yeah.
as much as I'm hanging out at
We
a
need
school.
budget cuts, and it's in an obvious place.
Yeah.
You're
Where
hanging
are
out
I'm saying they have milk
Yeah.
and chocolate milk.
Jake
Let's
has
just choose one.
Jake has lunch with the teachers and complains that the kids are also having lunch.
And they're at lunch now too.
And they're at lunch and they don't even have jobs.
So everyone's eating lunch.
You guys are here busting
You're
your
on the
asses.
job. You need to
You're
take
on the
a
job,
lunch.
right?
What
you
are
need
they
to take
doing?
a lunch.
Coach Stern, are you going to finish your tuna?
What union are they in? What dues do they pay?
Can I smoke in here?
Yeah. I mean, this DM definitely has a very. They seem very cold. The idea of just being like, if you keep arguing with me, I'm just gonna boot you.
Mhm.
I
think
do
they're in a
respect
situation
it.
where you gotta be cold.
It is a situation of
You don't have time.
This feels very much like a bunch of strangers playing on Roll20 together,
Right.
which it is.
Yes.
And if you continue to bring that energy, that's always what it will be, and you probably won't all become friends. But that sounds like that's what this game is.
You weren't robbed.
And the DM is, I think that they are being maybe a little rude and a little cold, but they're technically right.
Yeah.
And you're arguing a point that is incorrect.
Right.
Like you
think-
rolled
everyone
with advantage.
everyone rolls with advantage and then tries to argue that they should
that
just
they
take the
should,
highest
that
die.
should be
Just the higher
allowed.
die.
Yeah.
I think we should punish this person by you have to start the children shouldn't have or schools shouldn't have cafeterias movement in your town.
That's cool. I will be
Or on
the
Roll20.
public facing
Oh, that's great.
figurehead.
You say,
Mhm.
yeah, the next time you get into a Roll20 game, you kick it off with being like, what's up?
Mhm.
My name is this. One of my biggest things that I care about is kids not getting lunch at school.
The educational system is hemorrhaging money.
They don't have to
Feeding
have a
all these
whole
kids.
in the
room
shape of
for
a
food.
Do you know how many days you can go without
fancy-ass
food?
Cafeterias.
We have to put the crunch on lunch.
That's good. That's actually
Why am I
really
helping
really
you?
We need that.
Get me out of this, John.
Bailiff Jon.
I want no part of this, John.
John is really perfect except for that one weird opinion.
Yeah. I mean, as soon as the DM was like, no, you did it.
Yeah.
I could see making this argument of being like, I rolled with advantage by accident, but I got a nat 20 and it landed first.
Yeah.
You could do that kind of like cheeky
Basically, your
face, like,
DM
come on.
It wasn't
please.
a theft. It just you weren't given a present. You
Yeah.
basically you asked for a
Mhm.
gift.
Yeah, you
and-
asked for a gift
Yeah,
and they
they said
threatened
no.
to boot you.
Yeah.
You
Are
pushed
they
your
harsh?
finger
Yes.
into your dimple, and the
Yeah.
DM did not respond.
Yeah, I wonder if they're salty a little bit just because the interaction was so severe.
So curt.
It was
I think, you know what? I feel for this DM. They're
Yeah.
playing with a lot of people they don't know.
Yeah.
They're playing online, which means that online interactions are always a little weirder. They're praising efficiency, right?
Yeah.
This person, I think it's possible they were curt not even to be rude, but just to be efficient.
Yeah.
This is run
Which
by
is-
gamers for gamers.
Right. To
Big
your point,
fig.
the other players at that on the screen were happy that this was like shut down and
Yeah.
you started moving.
Yeah,
So,
that's true. Yeah, I guess you can't really afford to argue with people that you don't know at all.
yeah.
Yeah.
If I were playing with like 5 strangers and there was just somebody being like, no, I should get
If
to
someone,
do this.
that's
I'd be
true.
like,
I guess if like I was really
what
getting
am I
into it
doing
with
here?
somebody, I'd be like,
Yeah.
you're kicked out.
It's like when you hear somebody yelling at like a flight attendant. It's
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
oh, my
God,
God, just
so-
like, what are you doing?
I mean, I would boot that person.
Yeah,
so-
totally. You do have to. I think you have to. You think about the
Yeah.
greater good of the experience of people
Totally.
that are playing the game.
Yeah,
So with that said, Andrew is being punished.
by
Yeah,
having to
deeply.
come out in favor of cutting school lunches.
Right,
In
okay.
your roll
Not
20
school
games.
lunches, just schools shouldn't have cafeterias.
They can eat, but
They
just
can
does it
eat,
have
they
to
have
be
to
in,
do
a,
it. They
in
have to do
this
it at the
room?
table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that would be
At the desk.
ridiculous to say they can't eat. They
Yeah,
can eat.
yeah,
they
they'll
just
eat.
don't need a whole fucking
Yeah.
temple.
You know what you
to
could
their
do?
fucking
Exactly.
midday
A fucking
meal.
palace for your lunch? No.
Fucking-
What kind of school did you go to, John?
I think you could really get everyone
have to go
against
to
you.
school.
Everyone against you by being like, we're going to supply really good school meals that are going to cost the taxpayers a lot of money, but we're also going to destroy the cafeteria.
Right.
We're
Then-
gonna
So
bulldoze
your
it.
taxes are going
We're
up.
gonna
Yeah.
bulldoze the cafeteria, and nothing is gonna get erected
Yeah.
in its
Right.
place.
But
It would
but
be a
kids
demo.
can have hard-boiled eggs whenever they want.
Yeah,
That's cool. As long as they eat them at their desk.
kids just have to eat at their desk. That's all he cares about.
Okay.
I don't care how much money this costs me, as long as the kids are eating at their desk.
It's like, oh, so this is a
Budget thing?
A
No,
what?
no.
The school has a budget now?
It's a discipline thing.
It's a learning their lesson thing. Okay. The next case comes from Puppet Analingus.
Oh my goodness.
Just get a
We're
Murph
just
check on
gonna do
that.
this
Yep.
straight. Yeah, we're
Puppet
good.
Analingus writes,
We're good.
to the remarkably pristine yet sensual judges
Great.
and Jill's au pair.
This is John. This is John we're talking about now.
You don't
Yeah.
talk to John like that. I have a voicemail into my wife, and I'm pretty sure she's going to return it. I present the case of emotional railroading.
Oh dear.
I run a game for a group of friends, and recently we had someone join our group. They're great engaging with the backstory and other PCs, but there was a snag as I narrated a scene exposing their backstory. While narrating it, I talked about how they felt when they were younger, comparing it to how they felt now with the party facing challenges. They became kind of withdrawn for the rest of the session, and when I asked them what was up, they said I took their player agency away. I was flummoxed. They said by voicing their PC's thoughts and feelings, I was forcing the character to make decisions to suit whatever story I wanted to tell. I talk to my players after sessions all the time. Deep personal discussions about their characters, their motivations, where they want the story to go. Am I being sensitive? Is it wrong to assume I know about my players and their characters and how they would think and feel? I lay myself at the mercy of the court where I presume the bailiff sleeps.
This might be I'm sure this is an unpopular opinion, but most of what I say on this show is I feel like this player was really overthinking this whole situation. I am kind of just like, I can't imagine being like, you took away my player agency.
I think this is a complicated one because I think they're technically correct, but I don't quite understand becoming like completely withdrawn and just being like, because you said I was sad in this backstory, that now that fucks with everything I'm going to do.
Right.
This session.
You can just take what your DM is saying and be like, that's not actually how I feel.
I think it's a little bit of an overreaction.
This
But
DM is saying that they did talk to them about how they feel.
it sounds like everything is handled correctly in that you talked to your player afterwards. They told you what they didn't like about it. And now you won't do that going forward.
Right.
And I
to
think
this
that's
particular
cool.
player. But this is a new player and your other players might be fine with it.
Yeah.
So,
But I think it's an easy thing to avoid. Like, I think I've probably done it by accident sometimes.
by the way, I like when you do it.
But
Yeah,
I don't
was
know
gonna
that I
say, I
say
think
how you
some
guys.
players-
I don't know that I say how you guys feel, and I might have done it a couple
I think
times.
you do it
feel
like
like-
in a flashback when
Yeah.
we're like younger. I feel like I remember like Hard One at the Dwarfenage or something. You
Yeah,
would
it
say,
might be like
But that's
I
like
like
that, and
nice-
it's accurate, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's nice. I'm like, you do know where my. I think that's fucking great.
I think it
Yeah.
could be helpful for the DM to be like, you're like back when you were younger, you feel so small, and then it's like, oh, I know, oh, okay, I'm this like puts me in the position.
Yeah.
I mean, I also am in a position that like like I tell Murph or like even Brennan, I always write him emails about like where my characters are at.
Right.
So
And there are certain like actual like mechanical things that like make your characters feel something too, like being frightened or like if your character fails a roll or something, the DM would be like, you feel this way now.
Yeah, it depends on. I guess it depends on what the backstory thing is, right? Because it is like because maybe part of the problem here is that it is a new player. Is it that's what they said?
Yeah.
So I think it might just be a thing of like everybody getting used to each other, and maybe they didn't agree with your read on their backstory.
Right.
Because with like the example you're giving with like Hard One, at that point we had already had episodes and episodes and episodes
good call,
talking about Hard One's backstory. So I could be like, I know Hard One felt lonely because he said he felt lonely.
Yeah.
So then when I do this flashback, I'm like, hey, you're back in this place. You're probably feeling like lonely or like whatever.
Yeah.
And I might know that because you've already said that a bunch of times. So it might just be a matter of everybody playing together more.
The backstory thing is what is making it seem so natural that you would have described it. Like, it's so different than being like, you guys walk into a new town. Jake, you feel really scared of the residents here.
Yeah, that's
Whoa. I think I would just be like, I do. All
Yeah,
right.
I think even as I say that, I'm like, if someone did
Yeah,
that to me, I'd
that's
be
awesome.
like, okay, sure.
But like, yeah, I think first of all, just props to Puppet Analingus for writing a really thoughtful
really
question.
mature
Yeah.
for being a
That's
puppet
true.
analingus.
I also think everything that
personal
you're
discussions
saying,
about
you
their
sound
characters.
like a really thoughtful DM.
Yeah.
So I'm not really concerned about you going forward.
No.
Yeah, and I also don't think this player is, a red flag player or
Oh, I'm
anything
not
like
trying
that.
to say
Yeah,
that.
I think a conversation
I think
handles
you
all
guys
this
it
because
sounds like you guys just did it.
Yeah.
Like you figured it out.
Yeah.
right, like you talk to all your players about their backstories. It sounds like maybe you need to have more conversations with this player and also tell them about your DMing style and be like, are you cool with that? Or I can
I think it also I know Brennan does this a lot where it'll be like here's this situation, your backstory, you're here, you're in the dwarfenage. What do you think Hard One's feeling in this moment?
Yeah.
It's like you
Yeah.
do that thing.
Mhm.
And I
right,
think
and then you can like
that's
expand on that. It's like, oh, I guess I'm feeling like scared. And then
Yeah.
you're like, okay, so you're feeling, and then you can like extrapolate from there.
right. Case as presented, I it feels like you didn't really do anything wrong, and this might have been a little bit of an overreaction, but I think the preferred way to handle it is to let the player, decide how they feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that a cop took away my player agency when they pulled me over for speeding. Just see how it goes. Just try it out. Maybe they'll feel bad.
Yeah, I think some of the language of how they approached you sounded a little bit
Like you'd read some stuff online.
like they'd read some stuff online and they were trying it out.
Yeah.
So that's what made me. But I think that you sound like a thoughtful DM. It's possible that you overstepped a little bit, but it also doesn't sound like you're. I wouldn't beat yourself up.
Certainly
I feel
not,
like the way you're feeling based on this is like more than you need to have to course correct moving forward.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it seems like you guys already solved it. You talked.
Yeah.
You know what they don't like, and now you can.
We could do a light punishment. A light punishment. 'cause
Yeah.
it
The
has to be
lightest,
punished.
teeniest
It's
little
really
punishment.
has to be
Little
tiny.
one.
A cute little punishment.
Just a
Cute little
cute
punishment.
little
Are we
punishment.
punishing the DM? Yeah, I think we have to, right? That's kind of the only person that we could.
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
But it's got to be like community service or something like that, right?
Oh, they could do something.
They could collect signatures for the
Oh, they could serve the hard-boiled eggs at the school.
to the kids' desk.
That's
Right.
Okay, so you can be the. How about to make it cute? They get to choose. You can be the egg delivery person, or you can collect the signatures.
Yeah.
I feel like signatures is going to be pretty easy.
Right.
This is
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
yeah.
win-win.
I think associating with this cause is life ruining. Is the only problem. I'm gonna say you have
Not
to
cute.
eat lunch at your desk one time.
Oh, wow.
Just the one
cool.
time.
But as a political statement against cafeterias.
Yeah.
You do have to live stream it.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. So
There you go.
ordered. Mariah Mick G writes, "May it please the Supreme Crit and the homely Bailiff Jake." Is it homely good or bad?
Homely
It's
is
not
supposed to.
just, like,
it's
normal
The
look-
implication I feel like that I've read in the
pretty
past is like
condescending.
Yeah.
ugly,
Okay.
but I feel like it sounds really like kind of nice.
Yeah, I'll be homely.
Like it sounds like you're comfy.
I think
Totally.
it's.
I think
not-
it's
not
it's
nice.
like saying someone's plain.
Yeah.
I think.
I know,
Yeah.
but I'm saying like there's certain insults people leverage at you that you're like, I don't actually feel insulted by that.
Well, they're honestly talking about a different person.
True.
Bailiff Jake,
you're
Good
Bailiff Jon.
I don't know what
call.
Bailiff John looks like, but I don't think he's very homely, folks.
Real John's a freaking knockout.
I bring a case of travel woes.
Okay.
I was recently returning from a trip to visit my fiance in Toronto. I flew out Saturday morning only to have my connection canceled. I wouldn't be able to make it home on time for my online D&D game that evening.
Oh, brutal.
Oof.
I notified my group like a decent player and apologized for missing a game. One of my fellow players said I should just play from the airport and pay for the Wi-Fi. Airport/plane, excuse me. Airport/plane and
This
pay
is
for
a
Wi-Fi.
wild suggestion.
I pushed back.
That
as that
suggestion
seemed
reeks.
like it would be a bit disturbing to my fellow passengers. The DM said he was fine either way, and I did not play that session. Was my fellow player right? Could I have played from the airport without being rude? Or was I right in
No.
being considerate to my fellow travelers?
Guys, can you imagine sitting on a plane and hearing 1/5 of a D&D campaign?
It's their final episode too.
Eric
Also-
Cochra Bard.
You took away my agency?
Some of the things you say in D&D would get you kicked off of, would get the air marshal
Oh,
called on you.
absolutely.
Oh, I searched
I
the
pull
body
out
for
a
grenades.
knife and I attack him.
What? I cast fireball.
Yeah. Does it blow up? Did it blow up? Did it work? Did it blow up?
I cannot imagine. This is truly the most insane suggestion
Just
I've
imagine
ever
fucking-
heard.
Put it rolling dice on a little tray. Asking your neighbor.
Turbulence. Wait, I crit, but then there was turbulence.
Did go.
Excuse me, can I need my laptop for this one. Can I use your tray table to roll dice?
Mind if we turn on all three of the overhead lights?
And I actually
get
need
all
a
just
third
everyone
tray
sleeping, it's a red
table
eye?
so that I can
Red
eat my
eye.
rotisserie chicken.
You had a separate suitcase for your chicken. You gotta.
Yeah, can I do a margarita?
Can I do a margarita? Bob the Goblin was my dad. And he's dead. He's dead.
Daddy Boblin!
Dad, wake up. Cast Revivify. Do it. Just do
Turn it
it.
to your seat partner being like, excuse me, could you turn this movie off? It's really distracting.
I really think that this other player must have been joking, or I don't know how they conduct
I do
themselves
remember.
publicly.
I remember a time
Mhm.
before all of the NADPOD and us playing all the time. Back when D&D, it was like so devastating when a session got canceled because you only get to play like once a month or like even less than that.
Right.
And it's like somebody's like, "Sorry, something came up at work and I'm running late." There's definitely a part of you that wants to be like, "Can you just stay at the office and zoom in after, please?
yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
really need to play."
It's that
And
moment
so-
when you find out the bad news where you just want to be like, is there anything you can do?
Yeah.
Is there
Yeah.
anything
Can we
you can
just
do?
play
I mean,
still?
okay, it's possible that they were kind of being like, maybe you can just chat in.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then suddenly you're dealing with airplane Wi-Fi,
Yeah.
which is so
Yeah.
inconsistent.
That
Spotty.
really, it would have.
and then everyone's just waiting for your turn. Oh,
Mhm.
looks like his Wi-Fi isn't working.
Yeah.
This is why airplanes need a D&D class. They need a separate class
Okay.
for passengers playing D&D via Zoom.
Oh, that's
Okay.
Just way more expensive than first. And
So
Yeah.
expensive.
Very
But
expensive.
the Wi-Fi actually works.
The Wi-Fi works. It's
That's
crisp.
cool. Yeah. What Delta status do I have to achieve? Because I will do it.
Dodecahedron platinum.
Wow.
yeah. It wouldn't. Yeah, it wouldn't even be fun to be just
Yeah.
them clipping as
It wouldn't
the
be
stream
fun for the
doesn't
rest of the
keep up.
table
Yeah.
either. Like if this player got what they wanted and this person did like
Yeah.
dial in from
But
the air,
Murph is
that would not
so
be
right
good.
though that like that person was just coming from a place
They
of
just
like
wanted to play.
they just wanted to play.
Yeah,
They
totally.
didn't want you to not be there.
You can't expect somebody to not shoot their shot. You know.
But that being said, that it's an insane suggestion.
My
We
favorite-
do need to go ahead and
My
punish
favorite
them.
character in all of this is the DM, who
Oh,
someone
yeah.
makes an absurd
like,
suggestion.
"I'm
They're just
cool
like,
either
"I'm
way."
cool either way.
Whatever.
I'm cool. I'm cool if you want to play
I'll make it
D&D
work.
on the plane jammed between two people.
Which
Yeah, I can
what's
make
the
it
either
work.
way works
I
for
can
That's
me.
do
fine.
that.
That to me is more insane than
Yeah.
the person just being like, can't we just play? Can't
Yeah,
you just figure
right.
out
The
how to
DM has to
play?
diffuse.
That person is like,
I love
they
them.
need to play.
They're
the DM
crazy.
just being like, you playing on a plane? I could take it or leave it.
Didn't you spend like hours prepping this, my
Yeah.
friend? Why are
take
you
it or
so
leave
chill
it.
about this?
That's
Yeah.
really funny.
Yeah.
I mean, who do we even punish?
the
right?
DM,
I
This whole
think.
situation.
Oh,
is
the DM is
The
interesting.
DM, because
The
they're just
DM
kind
remained
of in the middle.
neutral
You
in the face
can't-
of
They
They
insanity.
remained, they remained neutral.
Yeah, they didn't
You
choose a
can't.
side.
And when,
I
Yeah.
think that the DM was rolling with the punches, and I respect that.
but that's not the DM's job.
Mhm.
DM's job is to
no, the
maintain
DM's job is
order.
to facilitate what the players
The
want.
DM's that
The DM
that
should have been
the
like-
DM from the first question that was like, you can roll flat or leave.
Yeah, we need roll
Yeah.
flat or leave energy here.
Oh my
We need
God,
no, you can't play
wow.
fucking D&D on a plane, you maniac.
Yeah, no, I mean that's fair. You really can.
Yeah.
you
really
actually can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe the pilot can do it because they have radios and there's a lot less.
Oh.
I think that we should we should punish all of them by giving ourselves a gift,
Oh.
which is we get a private plane in which we can play D&D.
That'd be
That's
so
amazing.
fucking
It'd be
fun.
really fun,
That's
right?
really
It's
fun.
like planes are so long. It'd
Yeah.
be the perfect way to fill time.
Yeah.
Well, we wouldn't even have to take it anywhere. We just hang out inside the plane.
Yeah,
Oh,
that'd be
that's
great.
interesting. So
Yeah.
it
No,
doesn't even
So we're just going to go to a
leave.
plane.
No,
Yeah.
Jake, John, it's very important to
Thank
me
you.
that we burn all of that jet fuel.
Jake John, yeah.
Jake John.
We
John.
could just play in the studio if we're just going to play.
No, we need to be burning that jet
It
fuel.
would be cool though if we were on the plane, right? But we were just kind of like cruising along backwards.
I can't wait for NADPOD
Oh,
to have
just
its own
taxiing.
to have its own Taylor Swift controversy of burning too much jet fuel by playing D&D in
The
the air.
audio's just really good in the mobile studio.
Whoa, we're just taxing.
Hey,
We're not burning a lot of jet fuel.
we're just burning
Just enough
way
to
more
keep
than a
it
car.
really cold.
Yeah.
Taxiing through the backwoods. All
Oh,
right, sweet. Well,
God.
thank you for the fucking plane.
Yeah, thanks for the
guys,
yeah. Your DM needs to
huge.
buy us a plane.
It's amazing. So ordered.
So yeah, I guess technically we think the person that suggested you playing on the airplane is wrong.
The most incorrect.
but we
These
feel
are
we
really
feel for
wild
them.
suggestions,
Yeah.
So
but
they
I like
still
it.
they do have to chip
Yeah.
in for the jet.
All right.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
they have to chip in.
And we're gonna buy it. We're not gonna. Taylor Swift apparently like shares hers with other people.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
We're
No,
not.
no.
We're not
This
gonna
is
share
I
ours.
would
it.
We
hate to
accept all
share my
responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No,
we need
it's
our
just
own.
gonna be
Simply
ours.
can't.
Yeah.
Okay. Kevin S. writes, Dear esteemed and wise justices and the lowly craven guest of man, known as Jeremiah.
Guest of
Wow,
man.
his name is
All right.
John.
Guest of man.
Guest of
Man.
man.
Is that from like fucking Frankenstein?
Honestly,
it's incredible.
Guest of man
of
known
man.
as Jeremiah is not a bad attitude for me
Guest
either.
of man known
but-
as Jeremiah.
I have been running a 5e campaign for several months, and recently a player has asked to run a concurrent campaign based on the Spelljammer source books set in space where different worlds are essentially different planets.
Yeah.
The PCs would essentially get to travel from world to world on arcane spaceships and have adventures. He asked, could he add my campaign world as a planet? And I agreed, assuming it wouldn't come up until a few sessions down the line. Unfortunately, I was wrong. First session, the new PCs landed their spaceship on my campaign world,
No.
right in the center of my largest major city.
Stop.
And long story short, despite me trying to stop them, they murdered several of my key NPCs.
John, stop.
I
Stop
tried to
reading
laugh it
John.
off as non-canon, but my player turned DM insisted that since this is his campaign, he can decide if it's canon or not.
Are they
And-
fucking
This is maniacal.
And then if I didn't respect that in my campaign going forward, I was basically saying he was a bad DM. The
What?
worst part,
Okay, now
This
this is
is
becoming
this is a
emotionally
power
manipulative. Is
play.
this a joke? Is this a prank that's going to turn into surprise on your birthday? We reveal this was a joke.
I wish. The worst part is the other players agreed. I now have the choice of whether to insist this is all non-canon, piss off my players, or try and salvage my ruined campaign and hope they don't choose to alter it further. So I ask you learned judges, am I wrong to feel hard done by my players here?
Yeah. Here's the good news.
Okay.
The good news is that you don't have to worry about your old campaign world because you can't play with these people. That's the good news.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The bad news is
Okay. What is the mega context
weird
for this?
power
Because
play.
this
Yeah.
is insane. Like, is this a weird meta coup?
It is. It is. It
It-
seems like the players all got together. They were like, let's run this thing. Let's see if we can get on the
Yes.
world. And once we're there, we wreak havoc and insist that it's
I
It-
don't
it
know
is
if
like-
I think
it-
the other players might just be like clueless.
Can
Yeah.
you imagine
Oh,
though?
getting in
Imagine
there,
if I
Mark.
was like Murph. If I like got together with Jake and Caldwell and I was like, okay,
guys.
like we have this like bad guy in Bohemia that we're having a hard time killing. What if I run a one shot that this Bohemia exists, but we're
great.
playing level 20 characters?
Awesome.
But you're playing level 20 characters,
this is
okay?
good. Okay.
So I'm going to pitch this to Murph. I go to Murph and I'm like, hey, we want to do this one shot. That's
Sure,
like all
yeah.
level 20
Yeah, you
characters.
can
It
do it
like
in my world.
exists in tandem with Bohemia.
Mhm.
Love it.
Cool. And then we do it, and then you guys immediately drop
I head straight
it.
for Esri.
What?
We could actually do it with. Oh wait, I guess Murph is technically one of the hot boys, but we could
In
almost
Hot Boy
do
Summer,
it.
you just like go
You just
kill
level
a
all of
cop.
us up and level Mac
it
down.
literally
Yeah.
it's literally the equivalent of
I have,
Emily
like,
and Hot Boy
there
Summer.
are
Yeah.
three pills that if you eat them, they will make you level 20.
Fuck, I guess I'll
Yeah.
take one.
Can
Yeah,
I
sounds
have
great.
one?
Dave
Okay,
takes
not
two.
enough.
Here you
Everyone
go,
roll
Barbara.
initiative, Murph
Okay.
with disadvantage.
I roll with disadvantage.
I got a 4. Can I re-roll
I
that?
rolled with
Yeah, you
advantage by
can.
accident.
Oh,
Got an ad 20.
Dave is gonna shove Mac down a flight of stairs and eat his pill.
And then the Hot Boys of Summer kill old cop. That's what happened to this
Yeah.
DM.
Yeah.
What
It's
a
so-
bizarre. And
so
then the
crazy.
weird manipulation of being like,
If you say this,
if
then
this
it means
isn't
I'm a
canon,
bad
it means
DM.
I'm a bad DM. You know what I would say
Yeah.
to that?
You are a
You're
bad
kinda
DM.
a bad
Right.
DM.
Yeah, you do have to call that
You're
bluff.
a bad
It's like,
DM
Yeah.
So
and a
yeah,
bad friend.
right. You're
Yeah.
a bad defriend.
Yeah.
You should defriend the DM.
There you go.
That's
There it is.
Really.
You got done
really
so
weird.
dirty, and I do not know why, and I don't think you know why, and
Yeah,
I think
this
some of
is-
the players don't even
it's
know why.
Yeah.
The probability
they
of
don't.
this, like you are playing Spelljammer, you could go to any world. The fact that this player chose to go
It
to
was a
your
coup.
world,
I think it was a coup.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I'm wondering
I
how
think they've
how
got-
well
they're, like, jealous of
orchestrated
you or
that coup
something.
was.
Yeah.
Clearly they in some way respect your world
Right.
because they or at least aspire to be a part of your world building because they wanted to incorporate your world into theirs.
Mhm.
They couldn't come up with their own thing, but then they want to destroy it.
mm-hmm.
It's fucked up.
It's really
like weird.
So weird.
There's other things going on.
Okay, here's what you do. Here's what you do. I don't know who. Maybe they came in and they killed NPCs who were bad, right? That they weren't high level enough to kill.
It sounds
Right.
it
Or
says it's just like
maybe-
key NPCs.
So maybe it's just random people, right? So then you just need to like really, really spell out how much they missed out on by killing these.
you should
people.
kill the. You
Oh.
should
Kill
have
one
NPCs.
of them and then be like, there's only
Yeah.
one person who knows Revivify. It's insert name of dead
Right.
NPC.
And
You
then
should have
maybe-
Yeah,
your
he'll be okay.
NPCs in your game in a narration kill the PCs from the DM's game.
Oh, that's good.
Just start your next session. Be like, so there was a massive slaughter. A spaceship showed up and killed a bunch of our NPCs. Luckily, the town guards showed up and they were able to kill the evildoers.
Right.
All the spaceship has been blown up and everyone aboard has been killed.
Yeah.
And we'll be starting from there.
That's really
And then
smart.
next month, you schedule your session exactly for when the other session is, and you make your players choose.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good.
Oh my god.
And that's all if you want to play with these people again.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
that's
you
true.
should. Yeah.
Which you maybe don't.
Maybe
I'm
don't.
so baffled by this situation.
Yeah, this
Mhm.
is
Weird
this one's
stuff.
Okay,
a
so we
wild
have to
one.
sentence this rogue band of players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let them play in this shitty ass campaign with this DM that doesn't know what
That's
the
true.
fuck they're doing.
You know what? They've said it. This DM has set a precedent in which the second he does something one of them doesn't like, they're gonna come for him by starting
Yeah.
their own one shot.
That is true.
Mm.
That is
So
actually very
let
true.
Splintering.
Let them eat themselves.
Let them be in their own fucking filth.
And they
Yeah.
can't even play in a plane. They have to play like in a fucking room.
Yeah.
They also they're gonna
literally-
be screwed as soon as they have to make up their own shit.
Right. As soon as they
They
can't
literally
come
had to
your
steal
world.
your shit
Yeah.
Mhm.
to run one session just to be a troll. If they want to keep it going, they're just gonna run out of stuff.
Let them eat shit.
Yeah.
Let them eat shit.
Let them eat shit.
Let them
Let them
eat their own
eat
shit.
and not on a plane.
Not on a plane.
Turuk
Nor in
style.
a cafeteria.
Was
Yeah,
it was Turuk?
never.
Was it Turuk?
Turuk?
That-
Oh yeah, Taruk.
It
Yeah,
says
Taruk.
energy
Yeah.
for
who
sure.
wanted to be a DM,
right. And, then got
absolutely
their
fucked
wish
himself.
and then just didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
The soul of Taruk is
The
residing
soul
in
of
this DM.
Taruk.
Yeah.
is in his
Taruk lives
DM.
on.
And also, the next time
He
they ask
is
that,
puppet string.
you say, yes, you
Analingus
are
puppet
indeed
master.
a bad DM.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was like
You
the part
stole
that
my
really
shit.
was quite
Yeah.
upsetting.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So ordered many times over. Our next case comes from Fia L. To the Honorable Supreme Crit Justices, as well as Jake, who is either cool or can go suck eggs, depending on how Murph is feeling.
Well, he's John now.
Yeah.
We love John.
John can
Yeah.
have as many eggs as he
Everyone
desires.
loves John.
John Odenkirk.
Yeah.
John Odenkirk. As long as you don't get on John's bad side by having lunch in a damn cafeteria. I present to you
That
the case.
includes food courts. People should be eating in the stores.
Why do you need a separate room for
Why
the
do you need a
food?
separate
Eat
room?
in the fitting
You have a
room.
little cart.
Go in the ladies' Foot Locker, eat your eggs.
Yeah,
Come
eat your
on.
eggs in the Foot Locker.
They're eggs for a reason. So you can eat them on the go. I recently ran a pirate-themed one-shot for some friends,
Ooh.
with the story being the party trying to find a magic portal before an evil pirate king did. However, I had a bit of an issue when one of the players said that I wasn't allowed to kill their character because they used the same character in other games.
Ugh.
I told them while I don't intend on killing their character, I also wouldn't promise that their character
Yeah.
wouldn't die because then there would be no stakes. They again said that would impact their other games. But I don't think that what happens in someone else's games should matter to me. The player then went silent, and it seemed like they were angry at me for not making my one-shot a part of someone else's continuity. To the court I asked, should I have promised not to kill their character no matter what, or was I right to keep the
There's
stakes up?
literally like
The-
franchises worth billions of dollars where the characters die are in different universes, or there's different canon, or there's comics where it's like, what if Professor X died? What would the X-Men be like?
Yeah.
What would the X-Men be like if Magneto was the leader of them? What would the
Right.
Of course.
why can't this fucking little game have the same rules
Right.
as these billion-dollar franchises?
That everyone-
You can't
yeah.
stretch
Right.
your brain to comprehend how that would be possible
This
when
game's gonna
all of
be-
fantasy does
This
that.
game's going to be awesome. Just remember not to kill me, all right?
This is so,
I can't get hurt. I can't get hurt. Remember.
It's just fucking wild because I saw Endgame and I told Kevin Feige not to kill Iron Man, and then he just fucking did it.
Yeah.
He did it in the
Is that a
movie.
spoiler?
It is a spoiler, but it's
Spoilers!
come on, it's
Spoilers
spoilers for
for
Endgame. It's a
Iron
very
Man.
popular
The
movie.
dog dies,
I
and all
mean, you
dogs go
know,
to heaven.
I mean, it's called Endgame. You know that everyone's gonna die at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the game.
Well, not everyone dies.
Sure they do.
An Endgame, everyone dies, and then it's the end. That's the last Marvel movie.
Yeah.
There you go.
And they're not making any
God,
more.
I miss
They
them.
went out with a bang.
They were really funny for a bit
Put
there.
end in the title and then keep making more.
Yeah. You know what they say? Go out on a high note.
Yeah.
Right.
In the
Good
film
job,
industry.
Kevin.
You want to peak, and then you kind of you just never make another film after that.
Perfect.
I think this is I'm really, really trying to. I think that there are people who create a character that is so sacred to them,
Mm-hmm.
and that is part of the fun of how they interact. But I just don't think that you can ask other people to accommodate that.
I think then, if you have that kind of like sacred character in your head, you just have to be like, this is a non-canon adventure for my character.
Yes,
And,
or
like, does this rule-
I'm Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
I'm getting
Do-
dispatched. Into
Do the
these
other
worlds.
DMs abide by this rule too? Like
Like your
this would
character
mean
can
that,
never
like,
die.
Yeah, so like if they're
Oh.
not dying in this campaign, does that mean in their other campaigns their DMs are also on board with that?
Yeah, if they can't separate that headcanon,
Mm-hmm.
why don't they just make a new fucking character?
Yeah.
I get wanting to.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't totally get it because I don't do it, but
Yeah.
I understand the idea of being like, this is my dude. I like playing as them. I'm
Mhm.
gonna put them in every game I play,
Yeah.
and have sort of my own little fun multiverse. That's fun.
Right.
But the purpose of it is it's a multiverse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different things can
Yeah.
happen in
Mhm.
different timelines.
Mhm.
Why you would want to play a game where there's no chance of losing? Just do we all want to sit around playing Candyland and just no one can lose? Just
Oh, that's fun.
that
I
sounds
mean,
fun, right?
Yeah, I do like looking at that board.
It is a
It's
nice
so
board.
It's a fun board.
tasty
That chocolate
looking.
guy
Yeah.
and the
Oh, yeah,
licorice
the
devil.
molasses, Yeah.
I love
I
that
like the
licorice
molasses
devil.
Spoilers.
Spoilers for the board of Candyland.
I gotta give another spoiler for All Dogs Go to Heaven. Actually,
That dog do
the
die.
dog actually dies twice.
Yeah,
technically,
twice.
'cause- Well, because
Comes
he dies
back.
at first and he gets the little timer.
Oh, yeah.
God or whoever the hell talks to him
Some
is
sort of
like,
angelic presence.
yeah, and
Mhm.
and Angel's like, hey, you've been kind of a fucking bad dog.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
But all dogs go to heaven, so I'm gonna give you one more chance. You get to be a good dog with a little timer on
It's
you.
I
interesting
know
if
we
that's just-
shouldn't. I know we shouldn't be having this tangent. But what makes the dog so bad?
He works for
Actually,
the dog
that's not true.
mob.
I had two
Yeah,
dogs
he works for a
try
big.
to run into my house the other day.
Wow.
They might be part of the dog mob too.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
were.
they were the
bad
dog.
dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If all dogs go to heaven, then doesn't that kind of take the stakes
Well,
away?
well,
Yeah.
that's the
so
purpose.
then-
He does
Well,
not
then-
get into heaven.
Right, but they're like, well, you didn't get into heaven, so you get another chance.
Yeah.
And then,
Exactly.
like, what's the alternative? If
There's dog hell.
Yeah,
Is there
he,
dog
wa-
hell?
he was gonna go to hell
Yeah.
Then why do they say all dogs go to heaven if there is dogs hell?
because
Because
The
it's gonna
idea-
be a hell
Are
of
you-
one.
he goes to heaven at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
What you're doing
But-
is you're criticizing the dog religion. Like the hell has to exist there as like a threat, but like
I
you
actually
get
don't.
like yeah.
I don't know if the dog was the dog. You seem to know more, Caldwell.
It's
because I
burned into
forget
my
about
brain.
I forgot about the angelic presence. I just knew somebody came to him and gave
Yeah.
him a watch. Does he just cease to exist, or does he go to hell if the watch runs out?
He goes to hell at one point. He is on like a boat made of bones.
Oh, you're right.
He's on a boat made of bones.
Yeah, he would have gone to hell. So
Mhm.
all dogs don't go to heaven. That's just kind of it's kind of like
You
the
get like a
never-ending
first
story.
chance. Yeah.
Right.
The movie ends.
It's a catch.
It's not never
It's a catchy
ending.
line, but it's not if it's not true.
And I would
But all dogs
say
do.
that this
All dogs.
applies.
All the dogs in the movie go to heaven.
Mhm.
Interesting.
That die.
Mhm.
Yeah.
One
Okay.
dies twice.
This is what the player
This is the
wants.
pitch.
This is the pitch.
yeah.
The player wants an all dogs go to heaven type deal where their player comes back. But I
Yeah.
think that like maybe you trick
Yeah.
them. Maybe you'd be like, sure, you can come back, but you're going to get a magic stopwatch,
but you
and
get
if
a
you die
magic
again,
stop-
it's
yeah.
for fucking
This
real.
isn't
Or
fun
what
for
if-
anyone.
Mhm.
It's also weird for the other players, right?
Yeah.
The
Mhm.
other players just to be like, oh, I'm literally not going to target this player because they said they can't die.
doesn't-
So
Mhm.
yeah.
I guess my bad guy will attack this other person.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think it's not fun for anyone, including the player who can't be
Yeah.
killed. It's
Yeah.
like it's truly just bad across the board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
say bring up the multiverse argument and also say just play another character if you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Or say, please don't play my game. You seem
Right.
really annoying.
Or
Lots of-
like maybe you could just what if you just said, yeah, I won't kill you, and then you spend the whole time
And you
trying
try to kill them? You see an
That's a good
assassin's
alternative.
blade covered in poison. They attack with advantage. Sneak attack. You've been hit for 70.
a poison from a different universe that cannot be cured in this one.
You have to practice your laughing with an M.
Yeah. So you're saying send like a Jet Li assassin after this player,
Yeah.
kill him in each multiverse.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's the punishment, I
Yeah,
think.
cool.
So
Right.
we're on your side. We want you to kill this player's
Yeah.
character.
Say you're not going to, and then
And
kill
then just
him.
Mhm.
murder them with
This
an
is the
assassin.
kind of advice that we made this podcast to
Yeah.
give.
Yeah.
Yes. So fucking ordered.
Well done. Well done.
And if you don't like it, you can skip your lunch.
Put it on
Now
the
we're
wall.
asking them to skip the lunch
If you don't like
entirely.
it, because you're already in your
Listen,
office
Now
or
that
your
we
room.
got rid of the
You are-
cafeteria,
yeah, your desk.
eating in the classroom just seems kind of rude.
a
You
little
get
gross.
one. You get
Where
one
the books
free
are,
pull.
after all.
You get
John,
one
you're
free
kind of
pull.
losing me here. You had me at the demolishing the cafeteria, but asking the kids to forego lunch completely.
Let's table it for the short rest.
Okay.
On what table?
Let's desk it for the short rest. And it's time for a Diced Christ confessional
Okay.
to take us
Okay.
home.
Switch robes.
Switch the robes.
That's good. Yeah.
Dave 3D Art writes, I submit a confession to the Church of Dice Christ.
Mm.
20 years ago, during a game at my friend's birthday party,
Holy shit, this is ancient.
Oh my
This has
God.
been weighing on this person's soul.
Yes, the statute of limitations might be up on this, but let's see.
Not church.
All right. A gnome thief illusionist. That's what they're playing.
Okay.
I took and drank a health potion for myself when I was already at full hit points. My friend had real-life jars of juice representing the potions, and I was thirsty.
Oh.
Multiple characters died before the adventure ended, and I always wondered, would some of them have survived if I wasn't thirsty? Please forgive me, Dice Church. I was but a boy of 9 years old.
Oh, you were a stranger kid.
Hey, you were a stranger kid back then.
Actually, I'm
Oh,
going to say that
goodness.
there is a statute of limitation. And
Yeah, in
it's,
church.
it's 19
In our
years.
church, there is. Yeah, you don't have to
19.
feel guilty
Yeah.
about
Don't feel
drinking
guilty
juice when you're 9.
anymore.
Again, we have a very litigious
As long
bond.
as you didn't do it in a cafeteria.
As long as you were sitting at your desk, all is forgiven.
Oh, it's so cute. The jars of juice or the health
It's
potion.
really
That's
cute.
really
But then
nice.
also the little 9-year-old staring at one being like, oh boy, I
Really
am
does it
so
sometimes.
thirsty. I could really fucking demolish that healing potion.
I need me a cranberry juice.
Oh, bother.
Cranberry juice. It would be cranberry
It has
juice.
to be
That's the health
cranberry
color.
juice,
Yeah.
That's so cute. Sounds
Mhm.
like you have the cutest little campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Murph actually does, because we've been playing a campaign that's really, really potion based, and Murph does.
I make you guys drink full
what he does.
liters of cranberry juice
Yeah.
every time you want to
You
have a
Yeah,
iced
there's a-
me at one point.
Yeah. I
I'm
said
going to do a greater,
yeah, you
a
have
greater
to
healing.
drink a malt beverage anytime you want a potion. And I look at you really menacingly and I say, this is what it would be like. This is what it would fucking
You might
be
not
like,
want to
dude.
drink it, but it'll heal you.
But you're sick, right?
Yeah. I do
You're sick.
appreciate the urinary tract health they get from all the cranberries.
Having to drink a full, we have so many potions in this campaign. Having to drink a full glass of cranberry juice every
Oh my
time we
God.
got.
yeah.
That would be a
You gotta
really
yell.
funny way to
It's-
discourage us from using too many.
But in our campaign, we've also have been describing them as like these frosty, delicious.
yeah,
Yeah.
Sometimes
Like
they
delicious
do make me
things.
thirsty.
Mhm.
Yeah, me too.
But it's
Yeah.
like like having to drink something as a bonus action. I don't know if I could do that in real life.
No way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it makes
you're
sense that it
right.
yeah,
takes
it's
a
a
long
full
time.
for me to drink something.
Although
It's a full
it's
action.
10 rounds a minute, right?
10 rounds
minute.
is a minute. Yeah.
Mhm.
10 rounds, so then that means that it's 6 seconds per
Yeah.
6 seconds for an
So
action
then
for a
a-
full round.
For
Yeah.
a turn.
for a turn.
Mhm.
So then
Okay.
presumably it's like 2 seconds. Yeah, I couldn't drink a full. I could
Well,
not.
I could
potion, I
shotgun
feel like
it.
is more like
Mhm.
it's like a wellness
It's like a
shot,
little
I
thing,
imagine.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I could drink
some
a little.
wheatgrass?
Yeah, I could drink
I
some
could
wheat. I
definitely-
would-
some
a
wheatgrass.
ginger
Mhm.
turmeric
Absolutely
shot.
hound
I could.
a
Yeah,
wellness
Yeah.
shot in
I could
2
do that
seconds.
in seconds for sure.
Yeah.
Just picturing them being like Monster Energy tall boys.
Yeah.
I think Dice Christ saw that you were thirsty, and so supplied you with some cranberry juice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think as penance, have a little cranberry juice for your fallen.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh,
character.
right.
out,
Yeah.
Pour
Pour
some
some
cranberry
out.
juice on your floor.
Yeah, on your carpet, unfortunately.
Yeah, not on the hardwood.
Not on the hardwood.
No, it's gotta be on the carpet.
On the carpet, and let
Yeah.
that stuff sit for a little bit.
Yeah, and hope preferably you're on an airplane when you pour it out. So
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
carpeted,
I
Pour it
do.
but
out
not
on
our
an
plane.
airplane.
Not our airplane.
And don't apologize.
Because you can't keep up with the taxi of our
Yeah.
airplane.
We're-
we go
Try
so
and
fast.
catch us.
We
We're
go-
going.
Yeah. You'll see how fast we go and how much jet fuel we burn in the articles that come out.
We go fast enough that we could take off, but we're
We'll never do.
We just want to be. We don't want to be in the air. We just want to be burning as much fuel as possible.
That feeling of taking off and landing is really
And we
awesome.
love it.
Yeah,
We
we like the tingle.
Ooh.
That's the thing. We're getting the tingle nonstop while we play.
We don't want to go anywhere. Like, don't get us wrong.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
just
we
doing,
go
Yeah.
literal
We
circles.
We want to take up
literal
the tarmac,
circles.
kind of make it dangerous for
Yeah.
other people that want
Yeah.
to
Yep,
land.
yep.
We're going somewhere in a fantasy world.
Yeah.
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 So we don't need to go anywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool.
So,
So you're
Except for the
forgiven and so
other
are
side.
we.
Yeah.
You're very-
We're all forgiven.
We're all forgiven.
anyway, I see a lot of protesters outside the plane.
Whoa, hey. All right. Sweet. Thank you, everyone, for listening. We're going to call it for now, but we'll
Yes.
have more cases over on our Patreon.
Always.
Patreon.com/NADPOD. That's NADDPOD. Do not
Woo!
sing yet.
Over.
Don't
Yeah.
do it. Don't do it.
Weep.
And does
Weep.
does anybody have anything we'd like to plug?
Let's plug our Instagram. Let's plug our
Sure.
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah, it
Follow
has
us on
all our live
Instagram.
shows.
Yeah,
Follow
we
us
drop
on
live show info
Instagram.
there.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do a little behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
When I remember to.
Hot.
That's right.
Mhm.
It's super hot.
Yeah, I've been working out a lot, so I'm just like posting a lot of
A
progress
lot of
pics on there.
hot progress pics.
Uh-huh.
It's
Which
all
I imagine
befores
that's-
right now.
Yeah, I mean, you're supposed to post a lot of before.
You do a lot of
Yeah.
befores.
It's like me eating different foods and being like, "Wow, my body's gonna look really good after I work this off."
Yeah. But never show the after.
Fueling a workout, but you never see the workout.
Sweet.
Got that pre-workout glow.
You could follow us on social media that we may or may not use at THMurphsMe, at Axford Emily, at Caldy's Caldwell, and at Jake Hurwitz Jake. And you can tweet about the show using #NADPOD. That's NADDPOD.
We are the youth of the nation. We are the youth of the nation.
That was a Headgum podcast.